Okay, hold it. All right, here we go.
Why are we turning? Why?
Babe, you're hilarious. Come on.
Why? Let's do it again. Okay, so we're back. Baby is in the bed at least and not crying this time. And yeah.
So this is our second date. Not second date.
It's the first date.
It's the first date.
First date.
Our first date.
Our first date.
Our first date. Okay. Yeah. So our first date, I asked her out and she agreed, and we actually planned on hanging out for lunch. So I came to her work, I picked her up.
And he had got out the car and opened the door for me and everything.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I hadn't dated for 5 years, and it definitely had never dated like that.
Anyway, so yeah, I picked her up, got the flowers, clean car. We're talking on the way. I don't know what we really talked about on the way there.
Let's talk about your dramatic. So I love Luis now, but he was so extra when we first started dating. But it was like a grace over him, because like that didn't stop me from like getting to know you and liking you. But before we pull out the parking lot, because he picked me up from my job, he's like, "Let's pray before we begin this date."
Really?
You don't remember
I
that?
don't remember.
Oh my
that
gosh! Yes,
all.
we prayed.
I forgot I did that, but listen. So anyway, so we're driving, we're probably conversating obviously about her job and whatever else. We get to this restaurant. We're talking, we're having a good time, and one of the first things I asked her, I said, "Why do we date?" And at the same time we were like,
this was a part of
for
the
marriage.
exchange.
Yeah.
Yes.
So listen, at this point in my life, and I came to understand, you know, whenever the Lord had revealed the time for her to start dating again, that's how she would have responded, as well as that we both had no time to be playing, you know, the let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. It's just like, I'm about to be almost 30. I'm 30 now, like 2.5 years later. And, you know, she's, you know, following the Lord, you know, hearing him about, you know, where she needs to be. She left a whole, you know, news station job. I think you kind of talked about that in the first episode, maybe. I'm not sure. If not, she'll talk about that another time. But she left one job, you know, to follow the Lord and to be here. But basically, I just wanted to be sure about, if I'm going to date you, it's going to be for the right reasons. I don't want to get to know you. I don't want to know your favorite color. I want to know if you are a woman of God. I want to know if you are intentional about why we're dating, because I saw something in you and I'm here to pursue it, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, we had a lot of deep conversations that first date, like a lot of things that people might say, like, you shouldn't bring up on the first date. I definitely disagree, because like, you need to know whether you're wasting your time or not based on what you want. If you want to have fun, like, that's on you. But I have had plenty of fun before my salvation. I have had fun, honey. It was time to get serious about life.
Yeah. So that was the first part. And we were leaving lunch and we were driving back I was taking her back to work. So the only question I remember driving back, and I was asking her, I was just like, no, you asked me that question about how many kids.
I thought you did.
One of us asked a question of how many kids we wanted. And my answer was 6. Anyone who knows me, whoever asked me that question, knows that I have a desire for 6 kids. We're on our way with 2. We're not really sure what's gonna happen.
We're not sure at all.
And she was like 5. We were like, 5's next to 6. We'll see what happens. So I was just so basically, I'm trying not to get ahead of myself here. So I asked her to go and visit my dance website. And my dance website has my bio in like a very, 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 very small paragraph of my testimony. And in that season, when we met, I was in a place that whoever I'm going to date, whoever I'm going to court, or whatever it's going to look like, they need to know my story. And because I'm not gonna, play with you for 2 years and be like, oh, by the way, this is my testimony. Do you think that the Lord has called you to, be with a man whose story is this? So
my insert into that is that I already knew what this testimony was. One, because I was picking up the vibes at Starbucks. Like, I just thought he was one of my fellow brothers, but, I thought he was, So to pick up where Luis left off, like I said, when he came to pick me up for my first date, it's been 5 years since I've been on any type of date, and it was definitely never like this. He pulled up, his car was so cute, and he wanted to be extra right at the beginning and pray for the date.
We did all that.
I know, I'm just recapping. Okay. And then we got to the restaurant, and like he said, he asked his first question, but he didn't know that I had some questions of my own, because my friend, my close friend, I was on Facebook at the time because I always do it's like, I would call it like a slacker's fast. So I wasn't fasting in January like everybody else that does like the beginning of the year fast. So I would always do a February fast. But it also was like because of Valentine's Day. I had just got to this point where I just I was happy for everybody, but I knew that this was something that I was also coveting: marriage, dating, a relationship. And it just wasn't healthy for me to be on social media during that time, seeing everybody having their great time with whoever they were dating. So I just would always take a fast in February from social media and entertainment, and just spend that time focused on God. So I was in the midst of one of those fasts when we first met. And so one of my friends did the stalking job for me of going on his Facebook and seeing what he was all about. And while on there, she realized that he was
recently engaged.
Yes.
I don't know. I put the ring up. I wasn't married.
Yes. So he had already been through this whole thing, proposing, and for us girls, that's a red flag, because is this who you are, Mr. Propose a Man, and then break off proposals? I had personally known people that had happened to, and it wasn't about to be my story. But yeah, so I just had to kind of just see what that was about, in wisdom. And again, people wouldn't advise this on the first date maybe, but I need to get this out the way. Is this a player? Is what's his whole thing? So it did catch him off guard, right? Am I right? Yeah, it caught him off guard. I was like, well, how did I even say it? I know I said it a so mean way.
Yeah, she was just like, so you're engaged?
Yeah,
I'm
so,
she did her research.
Right. So we talked through that, and that was I think it wasn't a turnoff because he admitted fault. He admitted his own responsibility, his role in it, and how he is differing as a person now moving forward to not make the same mistakes that he made in that situation. And I think that showed a maturity, and that it wasn't just a flippant thing. He also seemed very sad about it. Not sad, but just kind of, he felt the responsibility. He felt what you did was wrong. So that was a good, I totally was able to move on from that. So then, like I said, the Holy Spirit had already told me what was going on with his life, what his testimony was. I just felt very strong this is his testimony, this is what he has to tell me. So he drops me off, he wants me to go to the website. I go to the website, I read it, and I call him back. And I'm like, oh, well, we got to talk about this. We're going to have to meet up again.
Yes. So a lot of people who are viewing this may know my testimony, but we haven't been clear of what my testimony is, what the website said, and I think we're kind of beating around the bush. So I come from the lifestyle of homosexuality, and that's just a whole other video of us talking about it. But the reason why, on this first date, why I, directed her, to go see my website is because, I guess at that point, I've been on so many dates, and you know, when I felt strongly that this could be the one type thing, I would tell them like, hey, you know, this is my story, this is what the Lord has done for me. And because, you know, with certain testimonies, it comes struggles, and it comes, you know, battles that you can't fight alone. And I didn't honestly realize that, now that I'm in marriage, but I just knew that it could be an issue if I didn't, if this person isn't aware of my story. No matter what your story is, how sensitive it is, whatever it is, it's just like that person needs to know.
I feel like, just as a side note, I feel like it's definitely something that as a woman you have to be called to, because like if you're not, then it's going to be really challenging. Like, the flesh is the flesh, and that's always a battle within anyone's relationship and anyone's walk with God. But I do think that I felt personally called to the relationship. I think I had like a unique understanding of the community because I went to art school and I had friends, and I just came from like an ally background. Like I used to go to Pride Parade and all this stuff. So I just had like an understanding of the community, of the lifestyle, that I think helped me a lot with accepting it.
And so we met up.
You guys, I mean, like if we're being honest, it's like, come on, Luis, why can't you just tell her? Why do you like
I was afraid,
point her to a website and drive off?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It happened. I was afraid. I tried to hide from it, but obviously I knew that there would be an extensive conversation. But I just felt rejection from like previous relationships or previous things that I tried to do. So me, like each time I told that person up front, like in their face, and not that they treated me differently, but I just felt the instant like, yeah, I'm probably never gonna see you again. So I guess, at that point it was just like, I'd rather not feel that. So I'm gonna, feel it from a distance, so I just don't have to, face the, the hurt. So basically we end up making a part 2 to our date on the same day. So later that evening, I think it was a Friday. Was it a Friday?
I have no idea.
It was close to it was either Thursday or Friday. So we end up meeting later that day at another restaurant. No food or anything like that, just talking. And
it was Culver's.
It was Culver's. Yes. I probably did. Yeah. Whatever, I'm always eating. So anyways, we sit down, and then so she's just like, should I start or should you start? So in my head, I'm just like, well, it's my testimony.
Like,
so
what does she have to
like,
say?
what do you?
So
like,
this is honestly something I have been studying, like not because of homosexuality, but I have been studying like biblical manhood, I have been studying biblical manhood and biblical womanhood, and just like the call that God intended literally like from the garden for both men and women, and the different ways in which that has been distorted because of our desire to please our own flesh, basically. And so I come from a background of just promiscuity and just dating and all of the things that come with that. So I myself was like just studying it for me, and then homosexuality being another one of those ways that the original intent for creation has been distorted. I had all these thoughts and these things, and I just like was trying to explain to him like he's not talking to a person that doesn't understand even his struggles. Like, I'm not a person that thinks like, oh, Luis never thinks about a man ever again. What do they say? Pray the gay away and the gay is gone. Like, I'm not in denial about anything at all. Yeah. So I think like I just wanted to explain like my position and just like, I don't know, make him feel comfortable, like that he didn't have to be ashamed of his testimony.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much everything she just said, and that was like the first time where I left feeling confident. Like it was like I felt okay about it. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much our story of just.
So after this Culver's day, obviously I have a lot to think about, and there's people that love me and care about me, and they were concerned not about him per se, but whether or not this is something that would be best for me long term. Obviously I'm thinking about it too. Like we both said, we came to the table very serious. We weren't like, we want to date around, let's get to know each other, let's have a couple fun dates. We really were thinking about like, can I see this person being someone in my life long term? And everything else, like from our connection to the whole 6 kids question to what do you think marriage is, that was like, yes, like I can definitely see myself building something with this person. But then there's these other things where it's like, you know, is it worth what trouble that stuff may cause? So I remember distinctively one night just kind of thinking about it, praying and things like that. And I just heard the Lord say very clearly, very distinctly, am I not a redeemer? And I just kind of broke. Like, anytime the Lord talks to me, it's very moving, 1. 2, when the Lord asks you, am I not a redeemer? You are forced to look at yourself and think about what you have come from, what your life used to be. And that just like broke me. I'm like, if I don't think you're a redeemer of him, then you didn't redeem me. Like, if I question the Lord's ability to redeem, I'm questioning my own salvation. And so it was like, yes, Lord, like you are a redeemer. You completely rewrite our stories. We are completely washed and made new in your blood. Like, and that goes for every single person that comes to him and surrenders everything that they brought to the table, everything that they thought was life. When we surrender it, when we give it to him, when we are made new in him, like it's a brand new slate. And so I was dating Luis off of a brand new slate, off of who he said he was at the moment he gave his life to Christ.
Yeah.
And that's how we got here.
Yes.
And it's been a journey, honey. Ain't nobody trying to sugarcoat. It's been a journey. And it will continue to be a journey. But that is life.
But yeah, that is life. So, yeah, that's our love story. Love at 1 tall soy matcha green tea latte. That was made correctly.
It was really good.
But yeah, so that's all we have for this week's episode. We just really wanted to pretty much get you guys to know who we are and what our story was and how we came to know each other. I think we are definitely gonna spin off another episode down the line with, you know, our testimonies, because we kind of just
glossed over it.
Yeah, just glossed over it, but or bam, whatever it is, but boom. Love you guys. Thank you. If you have not done it yet, please go to Instagram. We are _granted_life. All together, the Granted Life. We are also on YouTube with no underscores, just plain on the Granted Life. And please subscribe, make a comment. And we want you guys to let us know how we're doing. But we're excited about this. It's episode number 2. We're growing. And we want to hear from you guys. Whatever you guys like, whatever you guys don't like, please let us know. It's really going to help us to guide, you know, this series, you know, the right way. And we want to keep you guys plugged in.
A couple more left.
Yes, of this series.
I'm trying to pop out this baby.
This baby is...
We want to keep her in for the safety of her life, but as soon as I can pop her out, I'm ready.
All right.